sound. Confusing images. That's fine. See if this works now. Let's do testing. Still a little quiet, but at least that's better. Final gigs here. 1 second. Okay. How's that sound? How's it going? That better. I think that works. Have sound at least. Okay. We are live. Hello, hello, everybody. And thank you for joining me again. So, earlier, I had gone over my unboxing of my brand new chaotic cards. And I had some people that were unfamiliar with the rules. So I decided we're going to go over the rules. And to do that, I have brought up Tabletop Simulator. One, because I love this thing and I have chaotic on here and it's awesome. But two, I can zoom in and zoom out to really give y'all the full view of everything. So, first off, let me try something here. I want to be able to try and get my chat window over here, maybe. Okay. There we go. That's good. And um, I'm still learning how to do all this Restream stuff. I find some of it kind of confusing. What will it do? Does this fix it? This one here. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so there's that. Embed that, I think. That's what I do. And pull that to the side there. And yep. And I need to turn you windowed. I'm sure how to do that part. Whale. I guess it's not going to. I'm not fancy enough to have the multiple displays yet. Mostly I have my phone for the YouTube chat, and I was trying to do the restream with Twitch as well. I guess we don't have to worry about that too much right now since nobody's on Twitch watching me yet. In the future, I'll need to work on that. But yeah, I'll say it's not that big of a deal right now. I'll just focus on watching YouTube. Okay, so now that I have gone through and spent 8, 9, 10 minutes trying to figure out all the settings, we can now continue, I think. So, when it comes to chaotic, we have 5 types of cards. You have character cards. Put that by the way. You have your character cards. You have your battle gear. You have your locations. You have the music and your attack cards. So, of course, your characters, they're the ones that are going to be fighting for you. You're going to use your attack cards to let them strike against the opponent's character. The battle gear is what gives them different bonuses. Hello, second viewer. It's what gives them special bonuses. So with this battle gear equipped to my Prince Mudinu, the Gauntlets of Might, the equipped creature. Let's see, can I do this? There we go. Yeah, there we go. So the equipped creature gains 25 extra power. So with Mudinu, he currently starts out with 35 power. That's the yellow squiggle line on the second row. So that's pretty low power, which is why I gave him these gauntlets. So that's increased by 25, bringing it up to 60. So hopefully that'll add in to deal a little bit extra damage on some of his attacks later on down the road. Each character has these 4 attributes, which is courage is the heart, power is the yellow squiggly lightning bolt, wisdom is the blue eye, and speed is the green squiggle. And then they have their energy or their health in the bottom right corner. In the bottom left corner is their music counter, which I use these tokens on here to denote. That is how they cast their special music, which is basically magical music. Music. And I'll get over to that in just a second. So each creature gets 1 battle gear that it starts the game with. When you initiate combat, then you reveal the battle gear and it is equipped. At that point, then its effect is basically turned on. Now, among the cards, you will see I have all these dice. That is just to keep things neat and tidy for me. So I have his energy or his health depicted by the white dice at 45, the red dice for his courage, yellow dice for power, blue dice for wisdom, and green dice for speed. So, as I see, he gains 25 power. So, increase that by 5, and then he gains another 20 on his power. Voila, it jumped up to 60. And that just helps me keep track of everything going on. Now, the locations, you have 10 locations in your location deck at any time when you start the game. What happens is they're face down, you shuffle them around. If they're shuffled, then you would draw one and flip it face up, and that becomes the active location. It has the initiative. Let's see. I wasn't expecting it to turn like that. So it has the active location, the initiative to determine who gets to go first. In this case, at the Stronghold Morn, whoever has the highest speed attacks first, regardless of if I was the if I was the player who was attacking. If I drew this card and the opponent has higher speed value than I do, they attack me first. And then each location has a special little ability. In this case, at the beginning of combat, both engaged creatures gain elemental types fire, water, air, and earth. Now, that's what these 4 sections are for here. If it's empty, the character doesn't have that ability. But, as you can see over here with interest, she has water on hers. So when she plays an attack card, let me see if there is. So an attack card like Riptide, it has a base attack of 5 damage, but then for somebody who has the water damage on there, it deals an additional 5 damage. And on this one, it has a special effect where the opposing creature loses 25 courage until the end of the turn. So they give creatures different bonuses. And also, Interest has Water 5, meaning water attacks made by this creature deal an additional 5 damage. So you can really start racking the damage up with these things if you plan it out right. So, going back to the location decks, the way that it works is I'm going to simulate just a one-on-one battle, but you can have one-on-one, 3-on-3, or 6-on-6. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The way that it works is you would have creature, and yeah, I have my creatures here already lined up with their battle gear and everything. So if I were doing a 3-on-3 match, it would look like this. So you'd have 2 up front, 1 in the back. And then if you want to do a 6-on-6, you would put 3 on top of the 2. Then if you wanted more, you'd put 4 on top of the 3. It always forms an inverted pyramid, pointing back to you. The reason for that being, when you attack, you are moving your character into the opposing slot, any adjacent slot. And when you do that, if there's a creature there, they battle. The winning creature stays in that spot. The losing creature dies. Once you are moving your creatures into the enemy lines, normally at the back end of my lines, I would have a support-like character who can cast a lot of music or have a really cool ability to heal or something like that. So it's in the enemy's best interest to invade and take out the support character as quickly as they can. To do that, you take turns. First person up, decided by the flip of the coin, whoever goes first, and whoever goes first flips their location deck, and then they initiate combat based on what location they have. I'm going to give this another quick shuffle. Flip this one, Castle Bodrin. So initiative power. At the beginning of combat, each player may return a music card from their discard pile to their hand. This isn't as effective in a one-on-one match, but if I had already, if so, you can use one music card per character. In a one-on-one match, you only have one. In a 3-on-3, I would have 3 music cards, one for each character, regardless of if they have a music counter or not. Some will have 1 music counter, some will have 2, 3, some will have 0. Well, if this were like second or third or fourth battles down the way, I'd have most likely some of my music in the discard pile. At which point then, when this became the active location, we could take 1 music card out of the discard pile and put it into my hand ready to play. So little things to give you the edge. And then, let's see, the music itself tells you how much the cost is. So this one has a single music cost. If we come over here, there's there. This one has 3 music cost. It would take 3 music to play that ability. So the musics, everything is color coded. So the yellow character plays yellow music. Blue character plays blue music, etc. And you have the Mepedians, which are the lizard-like people, the Overworlders. They're all sorts of different characters and animals. You have the Underworlders that are more designed to look similar to like demons and stuff. And then you have the Damians, which are more so designed to be insects. Each tribe has its own specific hijinks, I guess you might say. Like the Danians, the insects, they thrive off of using what they call the hive mind or the hive. So some creatures will have stronger effects based on what other creatures they have played around them. Mepedian's really special ability is invisibility. Invisibility strike 20 on Prince Mudino here. On his first attack in each combat, I get to add 20 damage to the first strike. And the best part is, that stacks. So my music over here, target creature gains invisibility strike 15 until the end of the turn. That means that turn that I use this, if I use it on the first turn, it stacks with his strike 20, so that'd be an automatic 35 extra damage in addition to whatever other damage I'm doing with my attack cards. So it can really stack up. And considering that Interest only has 40 health, this could come in really handy. But she's not out of the battle just yet. So what we're going to do here is the attack deck. We shuffle. The only 2 decks that go face down is the attack deck and the location deck. The battle gear stays with the creature, and the music stays off to the side where you can use it. Now, granted, you might want it face down in an actual game with another player so they can't see what you brought to the table, but in my case, the only 2 that I need face down is attacks and locations. Then you draw 2 attacks to start out, just for the beginning of the game. So like these two for Prince Mudinu, Telekinetic Bolt, base 10 damage, and then Courage Challenge 15, Wisdom Challenge 15. That means if my Courage and Challenge are each 15 above interests, then I can deal 10 damage and heal 10 damage. That's a pretty powerful one, if the stats align. This one, Squeeze Play, deals a base 5 damage. Look at the top 2 cards of your attack deck, put one of them on top of that deck and the other on the bottom. Now, when it comes to my turn to attack, I draw a 3rd card. Then, if I play this one, I'm going to draw 2 more cards. One of those will go to the bottom of the deck, the other gets on the top, so I automatically draw it the next turn. So it's setting you up for future play. Now we'll go ahead and shuffle the location deck over here again. Then we'll turn things around. We will shuffle the Overworld's location deck. We're giving Interest the Song of Resurgence to heal 20 energy to target creature. We'll shuffle the attack deck here. Now, with Interest, I've already got her dice set up here for her abilities. Then, the equipped creature gains 15 courage. All right, so I need another one of these over here. I'm going to set that to 15. So now she has 55 courage. And if the target equipped creature is overworld, which she is, it gains when equipped creature deals water damage, I heal 5 energy to that creature. So every time she deals water damage, not only is she dealing an additional 5 damage to Mudinu, she's also healing herself for 5 damage. So a pretty powerful combination right there, if we can get it all out right. So now she is going to draw her 2 cards. Once again, the challenge, meaning her speed has to be 15 over Mudinu's speed in order to deal 10 damage. As opposed to Flashmend here, which is a stat check. Wisdom 50, heal 5 energy. The stat check simply means, is my wisdom stat at or above 50? Well, no, hers is at 40. So this is useless to me. The reason it's still in the deck is because I had this built out for the 6-on-6 match that I was going earlier. All right, so now we need to determine who is going to go first by flipping over their location decks. To do that, flip a coin. Oops. Right. Let's just roll. Here we go. It is heads. Of course, I realize now I forgot to specify whose heads and whose tails. Uh, we'll do this again. We'll say that Mudinu or the Mepedians are heads and Interest is tails. And whichever one it lands on is the one that goes first. So heads, tails. Tails. Interest goes first. Okay. So things over here. So we start by flipping her first location. Castle Pillar. Initiative, Courage. At the beginning of combat, the engaged creature with the highest wisdom gains 1 music counter. Once again, that's not really going to bother us here, but that's because I had this built for a 6-on-6 deck. So, Courage, okay? She has 55 Courage, 55 Courage. They're the same. If the stats on the initiative check are the same, that means that whoever was the active player wins the initiative challenge. Now, whichever engaged creature has the highest wisdom, 40 and 60, 70. So Mudinu would get an extra thing here. So we'll just go clone, and he gets an extra music counter. Not that it's going to affect him at all, because he only has one music ability that he can play, and he doesn't have any personal abilities on himself. But there you go, he has that. So now, Interest comes over here and draws an attack card. Click, just double check, make sure not missing any chats. Nope, okay, all good. So we have 3 attack cards to choose from. Of course, we've already decided that Flash Mend is useless to us, so that's just a throwaway card. Velocitrap, I have to have 15 more speed. Let's see, I have 55 speed versus 30 speed. Okay, so that one works. That one works for us. And then Incinerate, we have, it requires fire. Well, once again, nobody has fire, so that's a throwaway card. I should have checked these attack cards before. Oh well, that's right. So the obvious choice is Velocitrap. So we're going to come over here and I'll play this. I want to put this. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to move the the location decks down just a little bit to clear out this space, because what happens is this opens up the burst deck. So she makes the first attack, dealing 10 damage. So now we have the option to play our music. We don't want to because that's to heal us. We don't need to heal, so it's useless right now. And there is no additional abilities on that other than the healing with water damage, so that doesn't do anything. So we're striking for 10 damage to Prince Mudino. Now, he gets a chance to respond. He's not attacking yet, but if he has any abilities or music that he can play against this, he would get the chance to. He currently does not. All his music and abilities are for when he attacks, so he can't do anything right now. So he passes. It's back to her. She can't do anything else right now. She passes. So now it resolves. 10 damage. All right. So the 5 damage goes away. And then this drops by 5 to 15. There we go. So Mudino is now down to 35 health. And then this would go to a, okay, a discard pile. And we're still at Castle Pillar. It's just now it is Prince Mudino's turn. So we're still at the same location. That has not changed yet because it's still in the same combat. Now, with his turn, he draws an attack card. All right. So we have Squeeze Play to deal 5 damage and set up our next attack. Well, I'm already sitting low. Ooh, let's see, what was that? Anyway, so he's already sitting kind of low at 35 health. So we don't want to necessarily force ourselves to wait another turn unless we have to. So let's look at the telekinetic bolt. Courage and wisdom challenge 15. All right, courage, we have 55, 55. That automatically fails, so that is not going to do anything. So that just be a base 10 damage. Okay, what about Inferno Gust? All right, well, we don't have fire, we don't have wind, so nothing there. But challenge, speed 15, deal 10 damage. Our speed is 30 versus hers, 55. That's a throwaway card for us. So right now, the best one is one of these two. We are going to be doing a base 20 damage with our first strike anyways. She has 40 health. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I am going to Yeah, we'll do telekinetic bolt. Open up with 10 damage. Now, at this point, the burst deck is open. I get the option of using an ability or a music before I pass. I want to go ahead and use my music. So I put the counter out of the way, showing that I'm using it, and I'm going to put it right there, dealing an additional 15 damage. So now that is 10, 25, 45 damage. That will kill her in the first hit, if I can make this work. She has a chance to respawn. So she has not taken any damage yet. She could try to use her music, but since she hasn't taken any damage yet, it's not healing her for anything. So that won't affect anything. But I'll go ahead and show you if she does try it out like this. Okay, she plays her card down. Now she can't play anything else. He can't play anything else. So it resolves from the top to the bottom. First off, we have Song of Resurgence. Heal 20 energy to target creature. She has not taken damage yet. She can't be healed. So that was a wasted card, and it would go to the discard pile. Let's put it right there. All right. Now, his Prince Mudino's turn. First strike. So, first we have Telekinetic Bolt. Well, first we initiate the music. So, Invisibility Strike 15. So he has an additional 35 damage added on to his next attack, which is 10. So he's dealing 45 damage. Well, she only has 40, so both of those, her whole health goes to 0. So she is down. And Prince Mudinu just won. So what would happen is she would go to, let's see, which one was it? Yeah, there. She would go to the discard pile with the rest of her people, and Prince Mudinu would then move forward into that spot, claiming that spot on the board. And if there was any other players around here, then they would be able to either attack him or he would attack them as he would work his way to the back lines. But one thing to consider is that also opens up his spot on the board for the other two players, or if it's a 6-on-6 match, there's 3 people up here on the first row. And so these two would then be able to move up to this center spot unless I moved one of my other creatures up. So you always have to consider board and what's going on. But that was our very first match with Prince Mudinu completely one-shotting her. That was pretty awesome. And that's the rules of Chaotic. It is very simple. You just rinse and repeat. Now that that battle is done, this goes to the bottom of her location deck. And then the next turn would go to Prince Mudinu. And so he would draw his. He gets Storm Tunnel. Initiative power. Air attacks deal an additional 5 damage. Damage dealt by water attacks is reduced by 5. And so you would use that with one of his creatures to then attack the next player. And you do the exact same battle. If they have music, if they have attack cards, if they have special abilities, all that goes into play. And it is all really simple to put into practice and simple to learn. I love it. It's so much fun. And the fact that um, the tabletop simulator here actually allows you to just grab the deck and shake it to shuffle. That is so cool. All right, so that's the music's there. Right there. Perfect. Okay. So then, since I just finished that battle, I would reset the board with whatever players and decks I was wanting to use. And that's that. That is a full one-on-one chaotic round. As you can see, each deck is going to have its pros and cons. In fact, if I really want to, I don't have it saved. I'd have to go through and look through it and build a whole new deck. Well, I didn't actually go through that. So, okay, I will show you this real quick. So, I talked about how you need to have battle gear that fits your character. Okay, that's very important. On your locations, you have to have 10 locations. Your location deck will always have 10 locations. So you want to stack the deck with things that benefit your team. The part that has the balancing effect for chaotic is the attack cards. Because on the attack cards, yeah, you can have ridiculous damages here, but they have a cost. When building your deck, you have to have 20 cards. No more, no less. And the way to balance out the power of the attack deck is the build points, which is that number on the top left. On Lightning Burst here, it's the number 1. On Quick Exit here, it's the number 0. Skeletal Strike, it's the number 2. You add up all those numbers in your deck, and that number has to equal 20, just like the number of cards in the deck. So you could theoretically just stack your deck with all cards cost level 1. As you can see, those typically deal either 5 base damage with a small benefit ability, or they'll have elemental damage associated with it, or like this one here, Iron Balls. It has 0 attack, but it completely negates any other music that is not regular generic music. So any specific tribal music cannot be used. So if we go through here and keep, let's see here. It's going to Skeletal Strike. Let's do those. Go. Here we go. So my more expensive attack in here is Telekinetic Bolt with a build cost of 3 because it has a base damage at 10, and then if your stats match the challenge, you can deal an additional 10 damage for dealing 20 damage to the opponent and healing yourself for 10 damage. So that's a very powerful one. And so it's expensive. Then I have, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have 19 build points because the zeros, of course, are 0. They don't count. They count towards your card total of 20, but they don't have to count towards the uh, build point battle or build point cost, which is very helpful. So it's a give and take on how you build your attack deck. And dealing with this deck here, as you saw, we ended up getting the luck of the draw with Telekinetic Bolt for the first hand, and we were able to one-shot. That's not always going to be the case. If we had drawn Lightning Burst, we would have only done 5 damage. Or if we had only drawn Tornado Tackle with 0 damage. Well, we did not have any air attacks or air elementals on ours, so that wouldn't have helped us at all. Same thing with the Inferno Gust, a challenge speed 5 or 15. That was a throwaway card for us. It did not help us at all. If all we had were cards like that, Interest would have lasted another turn and possibly killed us next turn. So you never know what you're going to get. That's how they balanced out, is the build cost and just everything like that. But it is absolutely amazing. I love it. I love how they did that. I love everything about this game. That's it all. And shuffle. And so we have 20 cards here. But yeah, hopefully, I'm really hoping that they actually come through and bring this game back, the show back. It was so much fun. It really was. So you're hoping on that, but after 5 years of them saying they're bringing it back, it's one of those people aren't really holding their breath anymore. But yeah, I hope y'all had a fun time watching this, and I hope you learned something. And who knows, maybe eventually they'll bring it back. They'll have an online presence, and we can meet in the fields of Perum for chaotic. If you want to nerd out on that, let me know. I love nerding out on this stuff. But that's going to do it for the rules and the simulation battle tonight. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Comment below. If you are interested in gaming, I love gaming with friends. Let me know. But as always, keep it classy, and I'll see you on this flip side.